Hey, bud. What's the crack? Me too. Hello. Oh god, wrong video. Hold on. I'm gonna put some NCS on. Yo, okay, so this is an animation stream. I'll be talking about mostly animation. Maybe, share a few life things, but mostly I'll be discussing animation and giving off tips. There we go. Anyway. Okay, so ask questions and we'll start. Bleh. Right, basically, let's start with questions. That's not exactly what I mean, but I don't really have a certain inspiration. I mostly just like, well, sort of just look for animators. I don't know. Anyway, usually I just, well, sorry. In this stream, I just want to answer like questions about how to animate instead of asking about my personal animation life. So like if you have any questions about like animation tips, just ask. Hold on, I'm gonna put my boots on. I mean, I might move on to those kind of questions later. I agree, Cuphead animation's incredibly difficult. Uh, there we go, got my boots on. I'll mostly be answering questions where you're asking for animation tips. I consider it animation, but honestly, I absolutely adore traditional animation. It's amazing. I mean, not like traditional, like, I don't mean like traditional, I mean like just no tweening and just every every single frame is drawn by hand and just like no tweening at all. Honestly, I just find it amazing. I feel like Rousey in this. I just feel like Rousey. Cuphead, no. Anyway, I'm giving out animation tips, and maybe later in the stream you can ask me about my personal animation life. You know what, just ask anything it has to do with animation or me. I don't care anymore because just talking about animation tips is going to be boring. Hold on, I'm gonna get some support. It's not gonna work. Wait. I feel far away. If I just... There we go. I don't really think I have one in particular that I find more important than the other. I think they're all important because if you think about it, all those things that you just mentioned, all of those do go into developing films. If you think about it, you have the music score, you have the writing for the script, you have the concept art of the characters, and of course you have animation like CGI animation or just fully animation. Hold on, I'm moving this back again because I'm probably going to be sitting up like this. But I have my pillows behind me just in case. Anyway, just ask anything to do with art, animation, I don't mind. And I can give my honestly like eh, I think writing's great, you know? Like writing's great. I enjoy it thoroughly. It's like whenever there's that one movie that's really complicated to make, so you just like make this script and put it into multiple hundreds of pages. God damn it, no. Anyway, continue asking. This is kind of like a Q&A except art mostly. Exactly. I think I might just make this a normal Q&A. Hold on, can I change the title? Okay, never mind, I can't. Anyway, this is just a Q&A at this point. You can ask me about my interests, whatever. Just don't ask anything too personal, even though it's pointless because half the people here know a lot about me. But I'm not really a fan of Doki Doki Literature Club. I am sorry, but I'm not really that big a fan. But I have to say, I kind of like Yuri and Monica. That's about it. Like, Natsuki and the other one's cute, but like, not really. Doki Doki's just not really me, you know? Ah, thank you. Anyway, just keep asking away. You can ask me even the most retarded of questions. Sure. And on we'll go. Through wastelands to the highways. Till my shadow. We'll go. Through the wastelands to the highways. On and on we'll go. Also, Swagga, I know I'm still in my mum's, but I'll still be able to make it out tomorrow. I'm just staying because family's down and we're gonna have fun tonight. I think I don't enjoy school. It's not as fun as I hoped it could be, but I do like some aspects of it. Like it's going to get me my qualifications, it's going to get me a job, when the job's going to get me money, and I'm going to get a house and food and so on. So it's important, and that's what I like about it. But sometimes I don't like how some teachers teach. Sometimes I don't like the fact that we only get to choose three subjects. And I hope you get better soon. And well, like I just find school like the important aspects. People just look over that, and they always go on, "Oh no, school should be fun." Just wait until you get into fourth year or whatever, and you start thinking, "Oh, this is important. I need this in order to live." Also, Swegna, I still have that football. Okay, keep asking. Like, ask me anything as long as it isn't personal. You can literally ask me whatever. It can be. Oh my god, yes! Wait, 7 more. Wait, your birthday? Is your birthday on Friday? Because if it is, I'll be buzzing. But if it's on a Saturday, I'll be depressed. Because that means I'm not going to be able to see you. Oh, thank God. No, I'm not going to ask you guys. No. Mate? Honestly, I redesign a lot of my characters over and over again. Sometimes I forget about them for a while, and then I remember, oh yeah, you exist, and then I redesign it, and sometimes it looks good. Other times I just make it worse, and I'm just like, old design now. You guys can literally even ask about story times. Like, you could ask if there's any certain story of mine, or I can share stories if you'd like that. Okay, I see that you like. I see Swagna likes that. Anyway, any specific style of story, or would you like me to just talk about the most random things I can think of? Like, is there a certain genre? Like, do you want me to talk about my injuries, my siblings, my life, my whatever? Oh, horror spippy times. Okay. Oh, this should be a good one. Um, hmm. Did I ever tell you about the thing that happened after my granny passed away? Let's set the mood, lads. Let's set the mood with a bit of creepy music. Oh, that should be good. Yeah, in 2016. Creep. Anyway, I'll continue. No, not creepy enough. That's Halloween music. There we go. Okay, this works, I guess. Okay, so after my granny passed away, obviously I was really upset for the first while, but when I got back into school and things were feeling better, I obviously was fine and nothing bad really came out of it. So I was just living normally, and after a few days in school, I went back to my normal house, did my homework, got home, got changed into pajamas, and went to lie in my bed. And I watched my Xbox for a little while and enjoyed myself, and then it was finally time for me to sleep. So I got into bed, got my blanket, got my pillows, got comfy. Everything was good. Everything was grand. So after a while, I was up for about an hour and a half, and I could not sleep. I was just sitting there in my bed, screaming in my mind, why can I not sleep? And then I look up. I look around the room. I just see dark, dark, dark. Obviously, that's nothing new because I sleep in the dark like most people do. So, the next thing that I saw after I tried to sleep again, I sat up because I couldn't sleep. I was going to go out to the bathroom because usually going out to the bathroom, getting a wee tiny walk makes me feel better. But as I looked up, I noticed something was off. And then I saw my grandmother, except she wasn't herself. Like, it wasn't like she was there. I knew it was hallucinating, but it was surreal and it didn't feel like a hallucination. And as a Wiccan, I can sense negative energy. Like, I could sense negative energy before I knew I was a Wiccan. So I sensed something was off, and that really bad vision of my granny terrified me. So I did what any young child would do. I grabbed my blanket, threw it over my head, and refused to move. After a while, I took a peek. It was gone. So I went to the bathroom, came back, tried to sleep again. By now, it was about it was about 11 to 12 o'clock, and in no, not 11 to 12, what am I saying, 12 to 1 in the morning. So I was still trying to sleep, and I just kept hearing footsteps. Now my house is old, my house makes noises at night, but these were full-fledged footsteps, and I didn't hear my mum get up before that, and since there was no other sound in the house, I knew for a fact that my mum had not left the room. I thought there was someone downstairs, so I instinctively grabbed my plastic bat and got it right beside me. Like right down here, beside where my bed is. So I grabbed that and was prepared. Then the steps stopped. And then everything was normal. I went to sleep, woke up the next day, checked around the house, nothing had happened. Everything was back to normal. The same similar thing happened a few nights after that, but once we got into summer, like around June I think, it stopped. No, it didn't happen every single night. It happened randomly, like when I stayed up at a certain time. The thing is, why did it happen around a certain time? 1 a.m, footsteps start. 11 o'clock, I saw the visions. What the hell was going on? Why did I only see them at those specific times? Bam. Anyway, I've got another creepy story about our possessed clock. If you want, I can tell you that one. But first, opinions on that last story. Was it good? Should I put it into my own video? Should I put it into its own video and animate it? Honestly, I actually did cry. Like, I didn't mention that because it would have just ruined the story in my personal opinion. But I did cry because obviously seeing your grandmother in a state like that would break your heart. Like, I was terrified and upset. Yeah. But then the footsteps didn't scare me as much, but they definitely were creepy, and I was just like, someone's downstairs. No, no, no. Anyway, let's move on to the possessed clock. So, in the middle of the night, me and my mum were both sleeping. Oh. Opinions on Momo? I don't care. Oh, I'll be right back, guys. Someone's phoning me. Okay, I've returned. Honestly, I don't care for Momo, but I am concerned about it. Like, I'm concerned about my little siblings, obviously, who isn't? I'm also concerned about friends, but apart from that, I don't really care about it. And, yeah. Anyway, allow me to move on to the story about the possessed clock. This one is 100% true, and you can ask my mum about it. Yes, my mum and I experienced this together. Seriously, mate? Damn. I mind I had a nightmare whenever it first turned up, like last year. I was terrified of it. I had a strange dream. But anyway, apart from Momo, because I don't like talking about Momo, let's talk about the possessed clock. So, me and my mum were both sleeping, Or, well, I was pretending to sleep because I was on my phone. So, in the middle of the night, around 3 o'clock in the morning, we heard a big bang downstairs. My mum woke up. I pretended as if I'd just woken up. I rushed out of my room. My mum rushed out of the room. We both hesitant. Well, my mum went down first. We both hesitantly went downstairs, and we see that the clock's fallen, and we were both like, "Oh, thank God, it's just the clock." But then we woke up in the morning. Well, I mean, we went back to bed obviously, and then we woke up in the morning. The battery had fallen out when it fell. My mum didn't bother to touch it. My mum went to put the clock back on the wall and reset the time. Thing was, it was 20 past 10 in the morning. We look at the clock, or well, my mum does. My mum told me this part of the story. My mum looks at the clock. It already says 20 past 10, but no one had touched it. So, Mum resets the clock, puts it on the wall again. It's not fucked up like that since. Anyway, those are my two past creepy stories that I have. I think I might, if you want me to, I can make up one on the spot. I don't know. I'm good at making up creepy stories. If you want, I can make up one. I can involve anime characters. I'm just kidding, no. But I could involve Roxy or something. Anyway, apart from that. Yeah, the one before was creepy and traumatizing to me. And the second one was one that can be 100% confirmed with my mum. But the second one can't because I haven't told anyone in my family about it, because honestly I got over it ages ago. It's still a bit upsetting to think about, but I got over it. Anyway, I'm going to make up a story and I'm going to just ramble on. Right. So, there were a bunch of friends out on a dark night. They were going out and they were going to stay in a shed that one of their parents had previously owned. They went into the shed and they settled down. Everything was fine, everything was grand. There were a total of 5. One called Windmill, one called Arthur, one called Roxy, one called Lena, and one called Radio. So, they had all been resting in the shed deciding who was going to share a room with who. After everyone decided, Roxy and Arthur shared a room. Radio and Windmill shared a room. And Lena got a bedroom to herself. So, everyone was sleeping peacefully. Everyone was happy. Nothing had been going wrong, nothing had been going bad. So, they all slept. Then in the middle of the night, they got woken up by a crash. They ran out to see what had happened. They saw that one of their windows had been broken by a bat. Not a wooden bat, a bat. Those squealing things with wings. So, they looked at it. They were confused, obviously. Why did a bat decide to fly straight into our window? Roxy asked. Windmill just shrugged, and everyone else was too busy staring at the bat. Next thing they knew, another bat came crashing through another window. So everyone was confused at this point. Roxy was paranoid, and everyone else was trying to stay calm, but of course everyone else was terrified. So, they looked around. They found the other bat, and let both of them outside. They patched up the windows with bits of cardboard, and went back to sleep. The next day, they decided to go outside, go to a nearby lake for a little swim. So, they went to the lake, everyone was in their swimming gear, and they all went to swim. They had fun. Then they came back. They had their food, they went out to a local town and had fun. Then they came back. Now, it's the next night. No one really saw anything too bad before they went to sleep. They made sure to board up the other windows in case other bats decided to fly into them. In the middle of the night, they heard something under the floorboards. Only a few people had woken up. Arthur had woken up, Wandmill had woken up, and Lena had woken up. They all left the room and decided to see where the noise was mostly coming from. They searched through all the floorboards, feeling to see if any of them had been moved. They couldn't find anything, but the next thing they knew, Lena had looked underneath a coffee table and had found that a trapdoor had been opened. No one knew that the trapdoor was there. So, they went down. A strong smell filled their nostrils. It reeked, smelled like something had died down there. So, they continued on. They kept going down and down, deeper into what they should have called a basement. Or what they assumed was a basement, at least. They kept going under until they found themselves in a big open area. Looked like a basement, was cold like a basement, and no one understood what the hell had they found. They looked around and found a door in the back. The door was stained red, and some of the marks were a deep brown color. Sorry, some of the splatters, whatever they were a deep red color, and they looked sticky. So, Arthur begrudgingly walks up and opens the door. The smell that they had smelt as they'd gone down there hit them in the face the moment they opened the door. They all walked in. The first thing they noticed was an area that had been freshly dug up and refilled. They decided to not dig it up again because no one knew what it was. They looked around and then they found something hanging on a hook. It was a dead cat. The cat had its head completely impaled on the edge of the hook. It was going through the back of its head and it came out right here. They found a dead dog. It was hard to tell what species the dog was, since it was just its skull. It was quite a large dog, like about the size of a husky or the size of a Labrador. So, the dog had the hook going through its mouth and came out the back of its head, much similar to the cat. Those were the only two dead animals they had found, which caused them to wonder what was buried underneath the ground. Was it a bigger animal? Or perhaps a bigger mammal? They decided against it and they rushed out of the room. They slammed the door shut. They couldn't lock it though. They wanted to get out of there. They tried to find the exit. The exit was gone. Roxy and Radio were both down in the room. They'd been woken up with all the noise they'd made. But the exit was nowhere in sight. Roxy and Radio said they left it wide open, but they still couldn't see it. They could barely see what was right in front of them. So, they looked around to see if they could find a light. Tried to find a light. Couldn't find one. So, Radio dug deep into his pocket and found a lighter. He used the lighter to look around. They found nothing more than what you'd find in a regular basement. A few boxes, nothing too intense. So then, Arthur, Lena, and Windmill decided to show the two what they had found. Roxy and Radio were hesitant at first, but obviously followed since they had nothing better to do. So, they looked through the room. They found nothing more than what they had previously seen, but there was something off. That there fresh bit of buried ground looked like it was a little deeper than it was before. Everyone looked at it, stared deeply into it. They were thinking, had someone dug it up while they were looking around at everything else? No, no one had. There was no one else down there. So they continued to look, see if they could find a way out. They found no way out. So they all just looked and looked for what seemed like hours. They found nothing. Didn't find a person. Didn't find any used weapons. They found 0 things, apart from what they'd seen beforehand. Eventually, Radio has to lift his hand away from the lighter. His finger burnt a little from the heat. They decide that they should probably dig up what had been underneath the ground. They might have some sort of clue as to their way out. Big mistake. They had found what they had hoped not to find. There was a human, a fresh human. Looked awfully similar to one of them. It looked just like Arthur. No one had realized that he was missing at all. They looked around, and next thing they realized, Arthur was the one lying in the grave. Everyone had gone into a panic. They quickly threw the dirt back over into the grave in hopes that no one else would get hurt. But then Roxy went missing. One by one, everyone went missing, leaving Windmill just on her own. Windmill tried to find the way out, and of course, she was just as unsuccessful as she had been before. Eventually, Windmill gave in, and whatever had been picking them up and throwing them in the grave finally took her too. The end. Oh, question, was that good? Oh, thank God. I made it up on the spot. That's why I stumbled over my words so much, was because I didn't know what to say next exactly. Also, that bit about the animals hanging by hooks, that was inspired by a scene in I can't remember what it's called. Well, it's really good. I think I might just end the stream here because there's like literally one person here and I just went into creepy stories. I have to update that in studio. Anyway, I'm gonna end the stream now. Hope people enjoyed. And I'll see you in a video, maybe another stream. I'll probably be doing a lot more streams because I'm pretty sure everyone's noticed I've streamed a lot. Anyway, I will see you all in the next